Monarch. I really wanted to love that game. Another one of those that I have a love-hate relationship with. Never finished it. Made it pretty far. Near the last chapters. Changed to easy. Grinded a lot. Still died a lot. One of the biggest grind fests of all time. I really do believe this game is broken. And despite its great ideas and original concepts, I do not recommend it. Monarch, everybody. Don't play it. Well, I guess, yeah, play it just to satisfy your curiosity and see how far you can make it. Maybe you'll beat it with enough patience. With enough patience, you will beat it. That's right, everybody. Welcome to another Q&A. How are you guys today? I'm doing fine. Doing fine, thanks for asking. We got another Versus episode today. Another one. Retro. Really retro. 90s. Early mid-90s. That's all I'm gonna say. Spoiler alert. So what's up, guys? Ready to ask your damn questions? Let me know if the music's too loud or too low. Too loud. Loud or loath. How's that for English, huh? Alright, everybody, what's up? What's up with the chat? I can't see it. Oh, there it is. There it is! Hello, Charlie. Hello, MGS Mega Fan. Hello, Aikichi. Hello, JA. Oh, this is 06? Oh, there it's Yakuza Kiwami. Sometimes I have to download these songs from different websites. Sometimes it's directly from YouTube. This one was directly from YouTube. Huh. Using a software, okay? An app. If you try to download anything from YouTube directly, if it's not your own, it sends you to YouTube Premium or something like that, and you gotta pay. Wow, the things they come up with. Hey, what's up, Don? Konami is not releasing Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster because Eiyuden Chronicle almost flopped. Don't you think? No, I don't think it's got anything to do with it. Konami announced these remasters a couple of years ago. They are already kind of finished. I think they're waiting for the right moment. Or maybe I'm thinking they are either debugging the games or making sure everything works properly, or hopefully not, but maybe they're being retranslated for modern audiences. You know? So maybe they're being destroyed, in other words. Or what I would really like to believe is that they're being just delayed to be released at the right moment. They didn't announce them in the E3. They didn't announce them in the State of Play. The next big show is what? Tokyo Game Show? So I'm thinking they'll probably announce them there. Hopefully. I mean, they have to. With these games, these remasters were supposed to be released last year. And it's 2024 and we still know nothing. No, I don't think Eiyuden Chronicles got anything to do with it. I used to believe that, you know, but I don't think so. Maybe Konami feels it's too soon. You know, Eiyuden just came out. Like 3 months, less than 3 months ago. Yeah, I'm thinking Tokyo Game Show. Probably. Anyway, guys. Favorite RE game? By RE you mean Resident Evil? That's the first thing that I thought of. Do you mean Resident Evil? Hey Dawood. Resident Evil. What's my favorite Resident Evil game? Well, that will be Nemesis. Yep. 2 is a close second. I'm not the biggest Resident Evil fan. I used to be when I was like really young. Survival horror games were probably one of my first favorite video game genres of all time, and it went on for a while. Once I got my hands on Silent Hill and Resident Evil Nemesis, which was the first Resident Evil that I ever played, I couldn't stop. I became addicted to the genre, and I just couldn't stop. I wanted to play them all on the PlayStation 1. I even looked for survival horror games on the Super Nintendo, but there were barely any. There were some, but I didn't get to play them. So I was stuck with PS1 and PS2 then. And it was around the PS2 era where I kind of started giving up. And obviously, because I got more and more into RPGs. RPGs are to blame why I abandoned the survival horror genre. And then it lost me, once Resident Evil 4 came out. I know it was a massive success and it revolutionized the industry of survival horror games, but to me it did the exact opposite. It turned me off. It's not a bad game, it's a great game, I just couldn't get into it. It was just so different. Yes, the tank controls in the original Resident Evil games and most survival horror games of the PlayStation 1 era were kind of bad, and they're extremely outdated and annoying to play. If I play right now any Resident Evil game from that era, it's gonna be ass. I probably won't last. I don't think I'll ever beat those games that I beat so many times back in the day. Resident Evil 1, I beat it like 3 times. Nemesis like 5 times. Resident Evil 2, like probably 4 times. 2 with each character, But then Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica came out, and I never beat them. I got far into them, but like I said, I was getting so much into RPGs that I just started forgetting about other genres. I got obsessed with RPGs, people. I still kinda am. Nothing's changed, huh? Yeah, but anyway, if I had to pick one favorite Resident Evil game, it will be Nemesis. I know it's one of the most popular and most fans will pick that one up as their favorite, but yeah, it's my favorite. What do you want me to say? It was my first one. Meant a lot to me. Jill's sexy as fuck. Yeah, I love it, man. And Nemesis was a huge pain in the ass to fight against. I think Gamescom is before Tokyo Game Show. Well, there you go. Maybe Konami will announce the remasters there. What are your favorite looking modern games? Both graphics and visual design. The retro modern looking games. They gave the HD to the Star Ocean, the Second Story R, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, Eiyuden Chronicle, the ones that look retro. Now, there are others that are like really good looking. Like, as in really, really modern. I'll be completely honest, Persona 3 Reload looks bonkers. I love how it looks. I love what they did with the dungeons, with the characters, with everything, Sure, I think some people were saying that the girls look a little bit flat. A little bit more flat than before, but I don't know, they look kind of the same to me. That's the style of the Kazuma Kaneko, so I don't know. Characters always are flat with that guy. But anyway, whatever the case, never mind that. The game looks fantastic, I mean, Persona 5 looked great. Freaking badass 7 years ago, and the remake of Persona 3, which was done with the same graphic engine. I don't know, man, they nailed it. It looks fantastic. Yeah, I think it's one of the prettiest, like, really recent modern looking games. Like I said, Eiyuden Chronicle, but it's cheating. Is it cheating, really? It's still a modern RPG, right? Anyway, those are some of my... What else? There's gotta be a third one, right? I really love the style of Mato Anomalies. A lot of people couldn't dig it, but I just really like it, man. The character design, the visuals. It's a bit reminiscent of the Persona games, actually, The game got a lot of comparisons with the Persona series. It's got some similarities, but barely, to be honest. It's just on the surface. Nothing to do with Persona. But yeah, it's a really good looking game. It's an indie Chinese game. And what else? I don't like these games, and I've never played them. But all of those Chinese free-to-play games, they look really good. Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, whatever. Zenless Zone Zero, the fan service is top-notch in those games. I don't care for those games, though. I don't think I'll ever play them, but They look really good, and they're modern, right? So there you go. I'm a big fan of the Star Ocean series. Probably not one of my 10 favorite series, or maybe, I don't think so. Top 15, definitely. Star Ocean The Second Story R is definitely by far the best. It's Second Story R, not Second Departure R. The hell, man. Second Story R. Departure is that the first one, the first Departure. That's a remaster of a remake, actually. So Second Story R is a remake, full remake in HD 2D of the original PS1 game, and that's by far the best Star Ocean game ever made. Original version was the best, and its remake was even better. It's still the best, still the king in the series. And then quite possibly the second place will be, believe it or not, the Divine Force for me. I think it's a badass game. I really enjoyed it, despite its infuriating moments. Have you listened to the Clair Obscure Expedition 33's music? No, I haven't. I mean, we've talked about the game before, I've seen the trailer, but no, I haven't listened to the music. JRPGs is the better genre anyways? Are you sure about that nowadays? Well, nowadays every fucking genre is trash, right? Anyway, yes, it's the best genre. Are you done with the Trails games? Yeah. At least they localized versions since Nisa are ruining them now. Yep. I haven't played Daybreak, just the demo, which was really long. But yeah, I'm done with the Trails games. Nah, I know what you're asking. No, I'm not done. A fan of mine is sending the limited edition of Trails Through Daybreak to me. I don't know when. But when he does, you know, and it gets to me, I'll play the damn game, you know. I haven't given up with the Trails games. I don't think I'll ever give up. I'm just gonna patiently wait for fans to hack the PS4, PS5 and retranslate the games. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'll play it in another language. I heard some games in Spanish are not politicized. 13 Sentinels is one of them, so yeah. Yeah, I'm not done. Don't worry. How about Yakuza Like a Dragon's graphics? They're fantastic, they look AAA, they look amazing, but you know, I don't really dig that much that visual design because it looks kind of realistic and it's cool. I dig that too, you know, but I prefer, you know, the fantastic or the colorful anime-ish type of graphics, you know, that's what I prefer. But yeah, I mean, if technically speaking, the Yakuza Like a Dragon graphics 1 and 2, especially Infinite Wealth, some of the cutscenes, they look badass, man, you know, they look so advanced, so modern, very AAA, you know, so, yeah, they look really good. Son-Hee looks really good in Infinite Wealth. Eric, do you think Serge would have talked in Chrono Cross? He definitely talks in Radical Dreamers, which is the visual novel game. He talks a lot, actually. He narrates the entire game. Maybe Masato Kato got tired of him talking and made him silent for the sequel, I don't know. I think the reason why they made him silent is because Chrono Trigger, the protagonist, was silent too, so they kind of follow the tradition, maybe. Probably Squaresoft told Masato Kato, hey, remember the story, right? I mean, Masato Kato didn't want Chrono Cross to be a sequel, but Squaresoft got involved. That was when Squaresoft was starting to do some questionable decisions. And then they merged with Enix and, you know, the rest. So, had Masato Kato been allowed to fulfill his true vision with Chrono Cross, it would have been a different game. It probably would have been the same, 80% the same game, but that 20% would have included a talking protagonist with a personality, no Chrono Trigger references. It would have been its own game. You know, it would have been better. It's still a masterpiece, my favorite game of all time, of course, and I'll never change my mind. But Surge could have been a talking protagonist, definitely. But I don't know, I'm just making assumptions here, okay? I'm not saying this is exactly what happened. I have no evidence to show that Squaresoft told Masato Kato, do these characters silent or you're fired. Or they kind of force him. I know they force him to do certain things he didn't want to do. Which one specifically, I don't know. I think that the inclusion of the Chrono Trigger characters near the end of the game, no spoilers, I think that's kind of forced. That was kind of like Squaresoft saying to Masato Kato, yeah, do this or else. But the rest, we're just making assumptions here, okay? That's it. Surge could have been a talking protagonist, but I don't know. We'll never know. My problem with developers is that I don't know if they kind of sign some NDA agreements, non-disclosure agreements. They probably do. But sometimes when you ask them something, it's like they don't want to say anything, or they give you their runabout answer, or their answers are pretty vague. Like, for example, this week a fan reached out to me saying that Yasumi Matsuno had completely debunked the rumors about Bash of Final Fantasy XII being the main character of Final Fantasy. No, that was never true. Because for many, many years, it was kind of... it wasn't a fact. There was never evidence. But it was a well-known assumption that a lot of people, including me, mistook for a fact. That Bash was supposed to be the main character. And when Matsuno quit, they created Van, who everybody hated, right? And we all thought that, a lot of people believed that, but some people asked Yasumi Matsuno on Twitter about this, and he said, no, Bash was never supposed to be the protagonist. That's a lie. But he didn't explain anything. Like, no context whatsoever, no explanations, like what's going on, give us the story. I don't know, maybe somebody should interview the guy properly and ask him, and confront him about, like, what's going on? Did you really write Ban? You, Yasumi Matsuno, you created this fucking character? Or maybe he did. Maybe he created Van, but Van had a different personality, right? Or he was going to be a very different guy. And maybe Square Enix, when Matsuno left, changed his personality entirely and made him into a generic, more relatable character. Well, we don't know, right? Maybe someone needs to get the truth out of Yasumi Matsuno. And someone also needs to get the truth out of Masato Kato regarding Chrono Cross, But maybe they signed some kind of agreement. Maybe they're afraid the Square Enix Mafia will get them for saying something. We don't know. Maybe they'll get into trouble and they want to remain silent. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, Surge could have been a talking character. The end. Anyway, did you play Dragon's Dogma 2? No. The story is better if you play as Leticia in the Divine Force? Wow, that's interesting. I really like playing as Raymond because I found that guy to be a very unusual character, like a merchant. I don't know, man. I mean, just I don't know. So he was just an interesting character, so I played as him. Haha, that's right, Mizu. But working designs, they had a sense of humor, and they weren't political. They were doing whatever the fuck they wanted, and that's wrong in my opinion. They were disrespecting the original script. They localized, but there was barely anything like right wing or left wing, or pronouns shit or stuff like that. I mean, working designs never translated something in that evil and fucking corrupted level, man. That's just fucked up. Nowadays, it's just ruined. I heard rumors. Okay, rumors. This is not confirmed. If you want to look it up right now on Google, let me know. Don't Google it. Google always manipulates search results. Use Bing or another search engine. Don't use Brave. It's fucked up too. So look it up online, however you want to. But I heard rumors that Falcom might start attempting localizing the games themselves. I don't know if that's true. I also heard a rumor about Rabbit and Bear Studios. They were going to translate the game Eiyuden Chronicle themselves to English. They're going to do something about the translation, but those are just rumors. And the Rabbit and Bear Studios rumor happened months ago, and we haven't heard anything, and I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think it's a lie. And the Falcom rumor might be true. Like, I don't know. But if it is, hopefully. Hopefully they'll do that. But I don't know, I played the entire demo of Daybreak and it seemed like a game for modern audiences, even without the translation. Anyway, so, and the demo is quite long. It's just like the prologue and the first chapter complete, right? And that was enough for me to notice that, yeah, the game's a bit modernized, even in Japan. What's your opinion about the character A and B controversy? We already talked about that. I think it's bullshit. I've seen other games before. I think I remember playing one called what was it? Adventure. I could be wrong though, but I think it's called Adventure Academia. I've only talked about that game once because fuck that game. It isn't bad, you know. It's decent, you know, but I only played for like 3 hours and quit, and I was like, fuck this game. I'm never playing this again. And he also has that like when you create a character, it's like type A or type B, and I'm like, what? What the fuck, man? Type A or type B? All the type C's in this world are going to get offended, and eventually you'll see a type C. Mark my words. Anyway, yes, it's fucking bullshit. Square Enix is full of shit, man. Nothing coming out of those guys surprises me anymore. It's like, oh, there's a controversy. What? This company has been complete and utter trash for many fucking years, man. Whatever they do, I mean, are you really surprised they're doing this? Man, Dragon Quest 12 is gonna be some kind of political crap. I can guarantee you that. I have lost all hope for that game. Toriyama is gone. Sugiyama is gone. The original guy who was going to be the director quit. Come on, I don't have any hopes for Dragon Quest 12 anyway. And I had hopes for these remasters, for these remakes. Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, but now we can clearly see that even remakes and remasters are being completely ruined by the Mafia. So there you go. Thank you, Sema Duvant. Vi is the hardest game you ever played. I never made it far in that game, but I remember it was kind of grindy. You know? Have you played Pop Full Mail? On the Sega CD also? That's fucking brutal, man. Man. And the original version isn't that hard, you know, on the Sega CD in Japan, or the original Super Famicom version that never came out of Japan. It's a challenging game, but not that, it wasn't supposed to be that fucking hard. But working designs, yep. The US dollar is going down again. It went up last month, and I did great. But it's going down again, really down. Van versus Noel from 13. Well, I don't have an opinion on Noel because I barely played those games. I didn't like them right from the start. To be honest, Final Fantasy has never been the same in quality since Sakaguchi left. I've been saying that for like 20 years. A week ago, Vi was released on Steam. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Vi on Steam. Brandish. This is speaking about Falcom, this is a Falcom game. Developed by Falcom, also remade on the PSP. Was released on Super Nintendo and got a remake on the PSP. Both versions made it overseas, believe it or not. Although I think the PSP remake does not have a physical release. It's only digital. Anyway, it's a good game, but it's Working Designs got banned from Game Arts Works because of the liberties taken. Well, imagine when companies back then took a stance against localization teams. That's what a lot of developers should do nowadays, and I've been saying this for a long time, for several months, that we can bitch all we want and nothing's gonna change unless developers themselves take a stance. Take a stand. Developers are the ones who need to step up and give the middle finger to localizations and translators and tell them, fuck you, man. We're not gonna let you politicize my translation, my script, my story. Fuck you, go fuck yourself. You know, we're translating these ourselves. Maybe they should do some kind of Kickstarter, man. Rabbit and Bear Studios should have done like an extra Kickstarter for the translation. Like, why bother with a fucking evil publisher, man? It's just... Man. Yeah, I couldn't beat Popful Mail. I was stuck on the Overlord boss. You made it to the Overworld. I never got past the Golem with a jumping head. Well, I'm pretty bad at action games, but yeah, I never got past that. And it seems Yuji Horii doesn't have any control over the Dragon Quest games now. Why am I not surprised? He's so old, man. He should just fucking retire. That way people will still respect him. If he keeps working for the company and these remakes are released with that localization and then Dragon Quest 12 ends up being utter garbage, political garbage, people are not gonna respect the guy anymore. He should quit when he can. Right now. Right now is a good time for Yuji Horii to leave that evil company, man. Anybody else following the real news story? The real news story? What are you talking about? Trump getting shot and the shooter missing and dying? And people saying, oh, with this they basically handed him the election. Now I'm like, so why do people believe that? I don't care who wins, but if Trump wins and if he gets rid of the mafia, the woke mafia, then it's a good thing, right? But then I don't know what evil plot is gonna come after that. Anyway, no, I'm not on Trump. I'm Mexican, man. I live in Mexico. Like, I do care who wins, but not that much. And we're fucked anyway. Mexicans are fucked. A fucking bitch, woke bitch, won the presidency. We had elections. We had voting last month, and she won, and it was corrupted. The other candidate, also a woman, should have won. We all know that. The entire country knows that. But the mafia won. Because they are just more powerful. The end. So we're fucked. Yeah, good luck to you guys on the US. Whatever happens, I think you're fucked. Whoever wins, I think you're fucked. But here in Mexico, we're fucked. And no one's gonna feel sorry for us except us, so that's the end of the topic. Can we see that Suikoden top? You're seeing is just the logo. And the rune symbols. That's it. That's my Suikoden t-shirt, man. That's right. Why did you miss your shot? What shot? What are you talking about? I've only played the Daybreak demo. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Well, Clueless, with those comments, you are definitely doing justice to your username. That's a pretty idiotic joke to say. Path of Radiance versus Valkyria Chronicles. I think Valkyria Chronicles will win. It's available in most modern systems. More people played it. It sold way more than Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance is a GameCube exclusive and no digital version anywhere. It's expensive as fuck. Valkyria is gonna crush it, man. We have one versus episode today. We have one. Be patient. You do for live is your YouTube work. What? Your favorite series is Suikoden or SMT? Suikoden. My 5 favorite series. Suikoden is the first one of all time. The others are in random order. I'd say yeah, Shin Megami Tensei, Fire Emblem, not so much anymore. What else? Ys and Grow Lancer. The Grow Lancer is only 6 games, but it's still one of my top 5 favorite series. Valkyria Chronicles is up there. Again, it's very few games. Tales, I'm a big Tales fan. You guys know that. I'm a big Trails fan. Trails is also up there. Persona. Because nowadays I like to separate Persona from SNT. They're so different. Persona became its own series many years ago. That's it. Valkyrie Profile, but it's dead. Deader than death. How can I overcome a spoiler? Cover your ears or your eyes. I don't know, man. People spoil everything nowadays. not into Souls games, man. Elden Ring doesn't appeal to me. Do you think the world is heading towards World War III? Yes, I do. Do you consider Suikoden 4 a masterpiece? No. Suikoden 4 is one of the worst Suikoden games. It's still good. I still recommend it. It's still worth playing, but it's not one of the best, man. No masterpiece. Fate with SMT. So, okay, so Devil Survivor, right? Does that count? I mean, I know it's a spin-off, but if you're okay with spin-offs, then Devil Survivor, Overclocked, love it, fucking love it. But if we're restricting these two main titles only, Apocalypse. Yeah, unusual answer, I know, but Apocalypse is Apocalypse, man, I love it. Where will the Chrono series fall in top list? It should be on the first places, man, but there's only 2 games. Well, Radical Dreamers doesn't really count. It's not called Chrono. There's only 2 games. Is it even really a series? Suikoden 3 versus Eiyuden Chronicles. That'll be a good contest in the future. We gotta give Eiyuden Chronicles, Eiyuden Chronicle. A lot of people say Chronicles in plural. No, it's Eiyuden Chronicle. Singular. Get your pronouns straight, people. Type A, Type B. Eiyuden Chronicles Type A. What a bad joke. Anyway, yeah, Suikoden 3 versus Eiyuden Chronicle, because we already know Eiyuden Chronicle can't compete versus Suikoden 2 and 5. 2 and 5 are the best and are superior to Eiyuden Chronicle. But Eiyuden Chronicle versus Suikoden 1 or Suikoden 3, that will be a good match. But we gotta give it Chronicle a bit more time. I mean, it's not even 3 months old. A lot of people haven't played it, believe it or not. Yeah, we need more time for that. To even consider a versus episode where Eiyuden Chronicle is involved. Exactly, Hong Luong. You know my answer. Xenoblade, because everyone... yeah, Xenoblade and Valkyria are the 2 games why people keep saying Eiyuden Chronicles. Love this song. This is Ease. It's too low. Not an RPG, but Nier Automata or Devil May Cry. Nier Automata is an RPG to me, you already know that, otherwise it would have never made it to the Versus episodes, which you probably watched, and I'm pretty sure you participated in that Versus episode, Kevin, so what's up with that question? Do you ever get gaming burnout? No. I've never gotten gaming burnout. I may have gotten a very small RPG burnout, but whenever that happens, I just switch to a different genre for like an entire week maybe, or a few days, and I'm back in action, right? I've never experienced like complete RPG burnout or hell, gaming burnout. Never in my life. Never. Maybe when I was 17 years old, I got so into movies and I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be an actor. I started working in Blockbuster. And it was... I kind of stayed away from video games, but not because I was burned out, but because, you know, I just got very interested in other stuff. And I only had a Super Nintendo back then. And everybody else had the PS1, or most people had the PS2 already. And I was stuck with the Super Nintendo and just a few games that I had played over and over again. So, yeah, I lost interest, but I never would have gotten video game burnout had I owned a PS1 when it came out, a PS2 when it came out. I jumped late into a lot of consoles. I got my look, since the Super Nintendo, you know, since the NES. I mean, I was born in 1985. The NES came out in 1985, but we never got a single video game console until 1990, when my aunt, her kids, my cousins, didn't want the NES anymore, so she gifted the NES to us. Everybody had the Super Nintendo in 1991, and me, my brother, and my sister, for the first time ever, we had the NES. And then a year later, we got the Game Boy. And the Genesis was out, Super Nintendo. The console wars were out, you know, everybody was talking about that, and I was just with my Game Boy, my Tiger Electronics, Bart Simpson's games, and the freaking NES. And then when I was 10 years old, in 1995, another aunt, she gave us the Super Nintendo. Because my cousin got the Nintendo 64 and she told him, oh, you want the 64? You're gonna have to get rid of the Super Nintendo because they're kind of rich. They gave us a Super Nintendo console for free with a few games. So you see, everybody had the PlayStation, everybody had the Sega Saturn. Well, no, nobody fucking had the Sega Saturn in North America, at least not in Mexico. Everybody had the PlayStation, and me and my siblings, for the first time, we got the Super Nintendo. And then, when I was 20 years old, we're talking about 2005, the PlayStation 2 was out, the PS3 was around the corner, and I got my PS1. So, you see, we're a fucked up history, right? Do you feel sorry for me? Please feel sorry for me. By all means, feel sorry for me. Anyway, yeah, I was always jumping late into consoles, and I'm not done yet. Well, thankfully, I got the PS2 the next year. I was like, I gotta get the PS2. So 1 year later, when I was 21, I got my PS2 with my own money. PS1 I bought with my own money too, used. A friend sold it to me because he wanted to buy the Xbox, the original Xbox, and I went with him. I'll never forget that, He sold me the PS1 with 2 controllers, 2 memory cards, and a crap ton of pirated copies, and with that money I went with him and he bought the Xbox. And then, exactly like less than a year later, or probably exactly 1 year later, in 2006 I got my PlayStation 2, and they were fairly cheap because the PlayStation 3 was kind of around the corner, or was it out already? I don't even remember. PSP was out, Nintendo DS was out, and I didn't have my Game Boy anymore. I don't know what happened to my Game Boy. I have no idea what happened to my Game Boy. My NES, I do remember, it stopped working. No matter how hard I tried to make it work again, it stopped working, so I sold it. My Super Nintendo, my mom donated my Super Nintendo to an orphanage. Lucky kids, yeah. But it was for a good intention, right? But it still hurts nowadays. She gave up my Super Nintendo to an orphanage, at least. Okay, it wasn't that bad. My PS1, I sold it out of necessity. I was broke. I was fucking broke back then, so I sold a lot of things, including my PS1. But I still have my PS2, my PS3, my PS4, and everything else that I bought since then. When did I get my PS3, you ask? I know nobody asked, but that's the end of the story. No, it's not the end of the story. Actually, it's not. I got my PlayStation 3 in 2015. I was a reseller. I have been reselling for years, and I have had some PS3s before for sale, but I sold them because, I was a reseller. That's what I did for a living back then. But one day I just couldn't resist. I was like, I gotta buy a PS3 for myself, goddammit. It's been like almost 10 years since the console was out. The PS4 was out. So, okay, I got my PS3. And Tales of Exilia was the first one that I played. The first game that I played. And then jumped to 2019, man. And I got my PS4 at the very end of 2019. It was a gift. Man, like 6 years after the console was released. And then the Switch, same year, 2000, no, wait a second, no. I got my PS4 at the very end of 2018. And then my Switch during the summer of 2019. Fans sent it to me. I was living in Canada back then. 2 years later, not too bad. And then the PS5, that's the end of the story. Well, I can talk about PSP and portable consoles now. Let's not do a retrospective on that. As usual, I missed a crap ton of your questions. Eiyuden Chronicle recommendable, very. Despite the horrendous English localization. I feel bad for your cousin. What a downgrade from the Super Nintendo to the 64, someone said. That's mean. Were you ever bullied at school or life in general because of your gaming hobby? No. I was bullied at school, in life in general, and I'm still getting bullied nowadays because of how I think and how I express myself. But never because of my gaming hobby. Never. What an interesting question. Nobody ever looked down on me because of that, or nobody bullied me because of that. thankfully, probably because most bullies themselves were gamers or played video games, you know? So no. Your next aunt should buy you a PS3 now. No. Yeah, if we're talking about other consoles like the Wii, the ones that I don't have anymore, I got them all when I was a reseller, late. Wii, GameCube, I got them all in 2012, 2013, so I even got those consoles late in my lifespan. In retrospective, there's still a lot to play nowadays on older consoles and even the new ones. You couldn't be wrong, Oscar. You were born in 87 and we're the same age. We're not the same age. I was born in 85. I'm 2 years older than you, man. What is your take, Eric? My take on what? Oh, I see a lot of stories here. Which console did you game on the most? When I was little, probably the Super Nintendo. Because that's all I had for like, man, almost a decade. I mean, I did go back to the NES occasionally, but when I was 10 years old, I got the Super Nintendo, right? So, and all I had was a Super Nintendo from like when I was 10 till all the way till I was 20. So for an entire decade, that's all I played, the Super Nintendo. I did play other games and other consoles at friends' houses, you know. I played Ocarina of Time on the 64, you know, and in someone else's house, you know, but I only had that one console. The NES was just kind of there. Shadow Tower versus Ephemeral Fantasia. That's an article to talk about. Ooh, that's today's versus episode, man. Is Lufia worth playing? The first one? No, not in my opinion. Stick to Lufia 2. Start with that one. That's a great, excellent game. Lufia 1, not a bad game, but not a great game either. Your first console was Atari 2600. Interesting. You gotta work out to your damn Q&A. I started earlier than usual because I'm gonna have to leave earlier than usual. I think my top 3 consoles are the PS2, PS3, and Wii. Wow, someone out there has the Wii as one of their favorite consoles. That's unusual. The Wii is an underrated system in my opinion. But yeah, my top 3 will be PS2, PS4. Are we counting portable systems? If not, then I'm gonna have to pick the PS2, PS4, and can't decide between Switch, Super Nintendo, PS1, and PS3. Fuck. Well, you got my top 2 at least. We underrated with RPGs too. Yeah, there's a bunch of games that are really good. I mean, besides Xenoblade Chronicles and The Last Story, okay? I know those are the only ones people know. And that crappy Super Paper Mario game, that it's not great. It's not bad, it's just bad. You know, but yeah, Arc Rise Fantasia is there, great game. Tales of Symphonia 2, go fuck yourselves, I don't give a shit. I fucking love it. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, that's my favorite, amazing sequel, one of the best sequels of all time. We got some roguelikes in there that are pretty decent, and coming from me, you know, Shiren the Wanderer, one of the best Shiren the Wanderer games in there. Chocobo's Dungeon is pretty fun in there. Muramasa the Demon Blade, obviously the PS Vita version is better, but Muramasa is still there, a vanilla game in there. Yeah, there's others really obscure games that are kind of worth checking out. Spectrox Origins. Well, it was published by Disney, and fuck Disney with a passion, so fuck them. What else is there? Opuna, it's kind of weird. Little King Story is kind of weird. I never could get into it. Never got into it. It's a real-time strategy RPG. Kind of weird. I like it. I like its ideas, but no, something turned me off. Pandora's Tower, great game. I hated the motion controls though. Never finished that game, but it's a great game. If you can stand the motion controls, that's a great game. Anyway, so and a bunch of Final Fantasy spin-offs, and they're all kind of mediocre. Switch has so many ports of games I never expected to see on a Nintendo console, so this is my favorite Nintendo console regarding RPGs. You know, me too. You know, my favorite Nintendo console of all time out of nostalgia is the freaking Super Nintendo. Okay? I just said that I spent an entire decade with it, and to date, I still play Super Nintendo games. You know, I just beat one, a fan-translated game, RPG, strategy RPG called Bahamut Lagoon. Man, I can't wait to talk about it. I have to find the right video to talk about it, to include it, but that's a great fucking game. But yeah, Super Nintendo, out of nostalgia, is still my king when it comes to Nintendo consoles, but yeah, in reality, I think the Switch and the 3DS I love them more nowadays. I don't even own a Super Nintendo anymore, because my mom... No, I did get a lot of Super Nintendos when I was a reseller and I had a store. A crap ton of Super Nintendos, but I don't know what the fuck happened. For some reason, I never kept one for myself, and I should have. Just out of nostalgia, you know. But I never did. I have so many regrets when I had the store. So many games I should have kept. So many consoles I should have kept. But then at the same time, I don't look back with regret. You know, I had a great deals. Like, most of my video game collection comes from being a reseller. So imagine the deals I got. I got a lot of my really obscure Holy Grail games for dirt cheap, for laughable prices, so I can't complain. Right? Are there any JRPGs that are just good but not great? Not that many, but yeah, maybe. How about this? Go and watch my tier list videos and every single JRPG that you find on the C. On the C, that's pretty much games that are not bad. They're good, but not great. That's the definition of the C letter in the tier list videos. That the games aren't bad, they're just not great. People usually don't care about those. People pay more attention to the ones on the B, A, and S. Especially A and S. But everything from C and below, they don't care. And that's a bad thing because, you know, what if one of those C tier games, what if it's great for you? I mean, yeah, I don't think it's great, but what if you play it and wow, I mean, that's why often I still do this nowadays, you know, I often include some of those games in my videos, because even though I don't think they're great, people might find them great. You know, some of the games that I found some of the worst of all time, you know, people love them. You know, I fucking hate Final Fantasy X too, and that's an S for a lot of people, an A game for a lot of people, you know, Resonance of Fate, The Last Remnant, you know, Tracia. No, Tracia, no. No fucking way. There's no human being on this planet that thinks Tracia is a good game. That's fucked up, man. Final Fantasy X-2, I respect. Resonance of Fate, Last Remnant. Tracia, no, man. I have a couple of numbers for a few therapists out there. Send me an email and I'll send them to you. Because if you like Tracia, there's something wrong with you. No way, Julie. No fucking way. No fucking way. Really? Really, Julie? You like Tracia? You did? I'm just being an asshole. Do you have a top 5 Final Fantasy games to start with video? No. Start with 9. 9 is the best one. It's always my recommended Final Fantasy to start with, because it's the best one. Start with that one, man. Final Fantasy 9. That's all you need. The end. You don't like Tactics Ogre, and a lot think it's what? Matthew, I do like Tactics Ogre. I know for several years I was that guy who didn't like the game, but once Reborn came out, the PS4, man, you don't watch my videos too often, do you? I've been praising that game for like a year and a half. Are Chinese JRPGs any good? Do you realize what you're asking? Are Chinese JRPGs? What? No. Chinese RPGs, man. Are Chinese RPGs any good? Forget about the J. Chinese JRPGs? What? Anyway, Chinese RPGs. Yeah, there's a lot of them that are really good. Start with Final Fantasy 4. Well, there you go. Final Fantasy 6. There you go. 10. There you go. Hey, this viewer asked me, not you. Wow, the stream is pretty stable. 80 viewers. Well, because a lot of people are used to joining around 12:30, 1 p.m. Will you ever do a top sci-fi JRPG list? I already did one. It's about hidden gems. I never wanted to do one with like a generally speaking, because I mean, come on, Xenoblade Star Ocean, it's gonna win, it's gonna be full of those games. So maybe I should just limit myself with one game or of each series. Like, you know what? Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that's the only one in the list. And then Star Ocean 2, and that's the only one. Maybe I should do that, yeah. But I did one for hidden gems. In case you're interested, check it out. Just, I don't know, open a YouTube tab right now and type sci-fi JRPGs Erick Landon RPG. And I'm pretty sure you'll show up. Hidden gems. Would love to see every NES ranking tier list. Ooh, I'm working on it. Working on it. I'll get there one day. After Rematch, I've been trying to get that game for a while. I've seen it for $25. I want to pay $20 for it because it's also a Metroidvania, and there are chances I won't like it. I'm not a fan of Metroidvania games, to be honest. I'm tired of them. I see RPG elements. I don't think it's considered as an action RPG, but maybe I'll play it and decide for myself, right? It's an indie game. Yeah, I want to play that game. It looks really appealing. It looks really cool. But I'm waiting for the... I usually don't pay more than $20 for games that I'm not sure about, so maybe Prime Day is coming. Maybe we'll see, right? Secret of Evermore can enter in that sci-fi RPG list. If it's JRPG list, no, because it's not a Japanese game. But it's a science fiction game, yeah, it could be there, but I don't like it. How are things with me in my life? It's all well. It's stable right now, relatively speaking. No, I don't play MMORPGs. I do like Parasite Eve. That's a fantastic game, man. Quite possibly one of my 10 favorite RPGs on the PlayStation 1. Probably number 10 nowadays. Have you played Final Fantasy 3 on NES yet? No. I played the Nintendo DS version, and I got this close talking about it. I did a video called 10 more JRPGs I really wanted to like about 2 weeks ago, and I almost included that game because I really wanted to like it, but for some reason I left it out. But that game needed to be there. If I ever do a part 3, it'll be there. I want to try something new in a while with you guys. It's just something for the Q&As. We'll do some. We're gonna do some kind of tier list live. I'll explain in a bit, so don't leave. Zero walkthroughs for what? What are you guys talking about? Oh, after Image? Oh, okay. How much is that game nowadays? I mean, I'm not gonna buy it right now, even if it's cheap, because Prime Day. Not a lot of games. You know, I usually don't buy games at Prime Day. I didn't buy anything last year or the year before, because most of the games that I care about don't go down in price. So how much is after Image? It's like $30, man. Meh. I'm just gonna keep waiting. What are you watching these days? Well, believe it or not, I'm watching Mayor of Kingstown Season 3. An episode is being released every Sunday. It's gonna be a new episode today. But I live in Mexico, so it's gonna have to wait until tomorrow, probably. Yeah, Mayor of Kingstown is one of the extremely very few shows that I can stand watching nowadays. Modern shows. I've mostly been watching B movies, old movies, you know. There are like, some of them are mediocre, but you do find some gems every now and then. Not a fan of Vagrant Story. Oh, thank you, make Foxhound great again. Are you gonna play East 10 Nordics? I definitely will. Wow, really? You pledged on the Kickstarter and they haven't sent you the OST? What a bunch of assholes. Just since 505 Games got involved, the game, the company, everything went to hell, man. Those guys. Brian... that's too much to hope for, man. I'm hoping for the same, but the reality, I mean, it's... yeah. Magic Knight Rayearth and Ranma and a Half are being remade. Ranma and a Half being remade in 2024, and you're hoping it doesn't get wrecked? Wow. Dude, it's a guarantee it's gonna be fucking wrecked. We know that. Magic Knight Rayearth, well, we'll see what happens, but I just don't give a shit about modern anime anymore. Anime is also getting ruined by the mafia, so do you think physical copies of Futa Wareru Mono Mask of Truth Deception will go up in price since it got delisted in the digital PSN store? I didn't know that. Why will they delist those games? That's horseshit. I don't know. Wow. Mask of Truth's been pretty cheap for a few years now. My copy of it, with the one that comes with the pillow, it's on the cheap side of things. I got it for cheap. I think I remember paying like $25 for it, probably less. Deception has been up in price for a while now. I don't know how much it goes for nowadays. I got my copy many years ago. Also for like $30, something like that. Comes with an art book. I still don't have the first game, Prelude to the Fallen. It's so rare and expensive everywhere, not just in Mexico. It's a $50, $60, $70 game. It's crazy, man. Do you have any interest in Black Myth Wukong? Not really, because it's a Souls-like game, but I'm glad the studio developers stood up against Sweet Baby and they told them to go fuck themselves. I love that passionately. Thank you, developers of that game. Thank you for doing that. But ironically, I just don't care about that game because it's a Souls-like, and I'm not a fan of Souls-like. And I don't find appealing playing with monkeys, man. Where are my waifus? Will you ever come around to playing Atelier Rise at 2 or 3? Sure, if they go down in price, man. Dude, I've been wanting to play those games since forever, and they're just so extremely rare and expensive here. No, they aren't rare, but they're very expensive. $60, $70 each. The second one is crazy. The third one, I've seen it for like 60, 65, 70. But the second one is like ridiculous here in Mexico. Like $100, man. What do you think of current PS5 Xbox generation? It's political trash, and they care more about politics than quality. What are some of your favorite minigames in JRPGs? Not really a fan of minigames, to be honest, so you're asking the wrong guy. I usually skip minigames. I do play them every now and then, but it's rare. Unless I'm forced. In Europe, Deception is cheaper. Honestly, the worst generation for me, bear none. Because of it's been ruined by politics, man. So yes, it's probably... We talked about this, I made it into a topic on my second channel about a couple of months ago. I criticized the generation, and yes, I remember calling it the worst. Up there with the 80s, the early 80s, with the video game crash. That's also one of the worst video game generations. It was the worst video game generation of all time. But nowadays, everything is controlled by this evil mentality. Like people attacking each other's politics and caring way more about that than quality. And ripping each other off. There's barely any originality in AAA games anymore. It's just bad. It's bad. Do you think Josette in Trails in the Sky deserved better? It's on top with Estelle for me. I love tomboys. Josette. Remind me who Josette is. Is she... No, she's not. Isn't that the girl, the blue-haired girl who's up working with these two guys? They're like sky bandits or something. They're kind of bad at first, and then they hook up with Joshua the Kapua. Yeah, okay, sure. No, it's not that I think she deserved better or worse. It's like she was just kind of there, and that's it. She's an interesting character, but I don't know. She's just there. I never care that much about her. I mean, I like her, but I have no strong opinion about her. She's an okay character. She's funny though. And that she kind of falls in love with Joshua, I know that. So she was kind of like the third wheel. She should have fallen in love with another character. Yeah, she gets some character development in Cold Steel 3, I remember that. That's right. You need to buy a Steam Deck. I just plug it to the TV and controller and it feels like a Switch with steroids. That's an interesting way to describe it. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'm not gonna buy a Steam Deck anytime soon. I need to buy a new computer. And I'll probably be able to play on Steam. And I'll plug my computer with an HDMI cable to my TV. So it's gonna serve the same purpose, man. So don't worry. I'll probably wait for Black Friday or the good weekend here in Mexico to buy a computer, or maybe next year, I don't know, but I gotta buy one soon. This one is, yeah, not great anymore. Wow. So you want to try that new thing now? Shall we wait a bit, just a bit more? Maybe just a bit more. Wow, I love that keyboard, man. Tales of Symphonia 2 Battle Theme. Love it. Love it. Great battle theme. Exactly, Misu. The game industry already had everything. They didn't need to force it even more. They didn't need to show up and force characters on every single fucking game and in a bad way. You know, it was already there. They should have just left it alone. Right? Tina from Final Fantasy VI. Barrett from Final Fantasy VII, for fuck's sake. Hauser from Suikoden 2. Come on. He was already there. 100 viewers. Woo! Thanks for joining, everybody. And welcome. You're in for a surprise today. And of course, a versus episode. You see, a lot of people join around this hour because they smell it. They smell it. We have this thing called the 90s. That's great. When everybody was against politics, I come from that era. I am a 90s kid. You know, all the bands that I listened to, all the artists, the writers that I read, you know, they're all against politics. All types of politics. Fuck them. They were always fighting the system, you know. I grew up with that attitude. That's why I have that attitude nowadays. Hey, Alex. What's up, man? Talking in Spanish now. Hola. Hola to you, too. Will you reuse games for versus episodes on different games each time? No, man. It will be interesting, you know. I kind of want to have Suikoden 2 fight against a specific other game. But no, I think reusing games is gonna make the series boring. At least not for a while. Maybe when we get to episode 20 or 30 or something, you know. Maybe I'll have, I don't know, Xenoblade Chronicles fight it out with another game, right? But for now, we won't reuse any games. And right now, we're gonna stick to like games from like the same generation. Like the last week we saw Octopath Traveler versus Ys 8. And yeah, it felt kind of random, but at the same time, these are two of the most beloved and best JRPGs of the last decade. And they came around the same year. Ys 8 came out in 2018, so did Octopath Traveler. Well, Ys 8 came out in 2017 in Japan, but we didn't get it until 2018, so there. So it made sense to me. But later, much later, we might do a Super Nintendo RPG versus a PS5 RPG. But right now, let's stick it to like the same generation, right? Thank you, Yum Yum. Try the Steam Deck with an arcade stick, a mouse and a keyboard, and a wireless Xbox controller. Everything works. You can play online for free. Well, that's cool. I don't really like playing online though. But I'll try it, man. I won't get a Steam Deck, but I will get a new computer. Erick's RPG knowledge is a C. Why will he need to? Rage Against the Machine. Oh yeah, are you sure about that? Rage Against the Machine, yeah. But then in the 2000s, Tom Morello and Serge Tankian from System of a Down created a band to fight for social justice. Wow. Rage Against the Machine, huh? Makes a lot of sense. Samurai Maiden. What's that? I'm gonna look it up. Samurai Maiden. Okay, interesting. Developed by Shade. It's a bunch of girls. Looks like a Blue Reflection type of game. All girl cast. Is this a Yuri? Looks like a Yuri game. It's a hack and slash, right? Looks interesting. Looks fun. Okay. Looks like a Yuri game though. You listen to bands like Green Day or My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance, don't make me talk about that band. I don't like it and I have no respect for the band. That's all I'm gonna say. Green Day is the same. But Green Day is a band that I grew up with. And I fucking loved it in the 90s. But the year 2000 happened and Green Day, in my opinion, went to a different direction. And I stopped caring about them. I stopped even caring for them. I don't like them. But I do like a lot of songs. I mean, I learned to play the guitar with Green Day, with Nirvana, with those bands, right? So I'm fond of the 90s Green Day when they were against the system. But nowadays they seem to be pro-system. Batten Kaitos versus Shadow Hearts. I feel that's a good one. That's a good one. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't vote because most people haven't played them. And for some reason, Batten Kaitos will win because it's on Switch and Steam. Shadow Hearts is just on PS2 and the games are expensive, so most people have played Batten Kaitos. So Batten Kaitos will probably win. But yeah, judging the original versions, that will be a good episode. What about the Refused? Never heard of them. Samurai Maiden gave me two people retracted their messages. What's going on? Kill Switch Engage. No. I know that there's a band with that name. No, As I Lay Dying, that's a band. I didn't know that. I'm an 90s kid, guys. I don't know a lot of bands from like the mid 2000s and until today. I know a lot of bands from the early 2000s and before that. A lot of bands. The 3-Chord King. Oh, Green Day always plays, no, not every song though, but most of his songs are like power chords, right? Yeah. Is it weird to think this generation of consoles brought nothing new? It's not weird, it's the truth. It's a fact. Hopefully they'll salvage them, Joseph. Look at the guy from Pink Floyd, so weird. What happened? Well, the guy from Pink Floyd, you mean Roger Waters? Come on, he's like 80-something years old. Give the guy a break. Don't take that guy too seriously. Come on! He's 80-something years old. You should totally check out Refused, okay. We were just talking about Batten Kaitos and the song played. See what I mean? Music players are listening to us, spying on us. Rolling Stones are on tour. Come on, those guys, give them a break. Those guys just listen to them and that's it. I mean, don't pay attention to what they say. I mean, they're fucking Come on, could you imagine to make a ranking tier list regarding soundtrack of RPG? That would be an interesting idea, but I don't feel like a lot of people will watch it. The Exploited, huh? I'm not really I like punk, but I'm more into industrial metal, grunge. You know? Bad Brains, I know that band. Of course, I know that band. I know Bad Brains. I also know Bird Brain. Bird Brain went nowhere in the 90s. Just released an album or two, I think, and then they died. They played in the Scream soundtrack, though. I got a surprise for you people. Okay. Let me know if I start lagging, because I'm gonna open up a lot of things, so let me know, okay? It's, let me know. While I do this, I'm gonna answer some questions. Which console do you think is very underrated? We were just talking about the Wii. I think the Wii is like a really underrated system. So is the GameCube. Well, the GameCube has gotten a lot of love in the past several years. But back in the day, the GameCube was pretty underrated. Hell, a lot of people still think of the console as a bad console. I don't know why. Am I lagging? Wii has got you covered in everything, man. It's got everything from fantastic, great masterpieces to shovelware. It's got everything. Everything was released on Wii. But now the Switch has beaten it. Alright. I think we're good. Damn, I have a lot of things open. So, there we go. So, give me 10 RPGs. Give me one RPG. One random, completely random RPG. It doesn't matter the generation. It doesn't matter the console. It doesn't matter where it's a Western, indie, Japanese, whatever. As long as it's not free to play or a Steam exclusive, right? Give me one. Eternal Quest. Wait. Wait a second. Give me a moment. It's not here. Anyway. Found it. Okay. Wait a second. So, Paladin's Quest. Alright. Is this old Blazer? Anyway. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Fairy Fencer F. What else? Blood of Bahamut? I don't know that one, man, so I can't help you there. Shin Megami Tensei 2? I haven't played it, so sorry, man. The Ultima series? No. Which one? Nier? The 360? Does it have to be the 360 version? I mean, does it matter? I mean, I'm just gonna add the PS3. I can't find the 360 cover, but so I'm gonna add the PS3 version. Okay, so Nier. Who? The Last Story. 2 Wii games, huh? Here it is. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 4 more. Mimana Year Chronicle. Eternal Sonata. I wasn't expecting your picks to be these random, man. That's great. That's a good thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. So, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. And last one, Atelier Annie. Okay, sorry guys. First 10. There we go. That's it. We got our list. All right. That's cool. That's cool. Be patient. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. We got our 10 contestants. This is fun. This is dumb, but it's fun. Who cares, right? It's processing, so be patient. We're doing this. I missed any questions? Battle Chases Night War? Haven't played it. If Falcom starts self-publishing, they will make it even more money. Yes. I hope they go solo, man. Like Acquire did. You know Acquire? Acquire quit Square Enix last year. And the 2 games they released this year, they published them themselves. Because they're tired of Square Enix politics. Yes, I did see Eternal Quest. It's there. It was the first one that I added. Yeah. Save those games for the next one. If we do a next one. So here. Oh, freaking ads. Stupid ads, man. Wow, this is huge. How are we gonna do this? Why are they all the way here? Damn ads ruining everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they're there. It's gonna have to be like this. Freaking interface. Man. Alright. We're almost there. It's too fucking loud. So we're gonna have to remove this one. There we go. This is live, okay? So be patient. Whoa, how about here? No, all the way. Goodbye for a bit. Yeah. There we go. So we're going to rank them from worst to best. But I need to be in the freaking video. Come on. Bye, move this here. There we go. I'm back. Back, everybody. I'm gonna be right here. Yep. There we go. Let's do this. So what we're gonna do today is rank 10 completely random RPGs that you guys picked in the chat from worst to best, just because it's a fun idea. Something fun, something completely random. Sometimes random things are the best ideas. Anyway, let's present today's candidates. We got Atelier Annie on the Nintendo DS. I'm pretty sure most of you didn't play that. Eternal Quest on the PlayStation 2. Only came out in Japan and Europe. Most of you didn't play it. Eternal Sonata, beloved game on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Fate Defensor F, a great compiled hard RPG on PS3, PS4, Switch, and Windows. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, one of the best sequels of all time and exclusive to the Wii. The Last Story, another exclusive on the Wii, developed by Hironobu Sakaguchi. Mimana Year Chronicle on the PSP. Nier, either version, PS3 or Xbox 360, but keep in mind, we're ranking the original version, not Replicant, the remake, okay? Ni no Kuni 2, The Revenant Kingdom, any version, PS4, Steam, Switch. And finally, Paladin's Quest on the Super Nintendo. I think it's a really obscure game and most of you didn't play it. So, let's begin! So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? You have them all there. I hate this freaking space, man. This space right here. I mean, why can't the pictures be here, right below? What's up with this space? Was there supposed to be an ad or something? Okay, so I think most of you know how I feel. So to me, in the first place, it's gonna have to be either my top three probably in this list are Eternal Sonata, Fire Emblem, and Nier. The real competition, though, it's between Fire Emblem and Nier. Oh man, that's a tough one. What do you guys think? Go Paladin's Quest? Yeah. Fairy Fencer? No one's gonna vote for Eternal Quest. Can we all agree Eternal Quest is the worst? It's the freaking worst, man. It's a bad game. In fact, it's the only bad game in the list. And it's not only bad, it's freaking terrible. Thank goodness this game never reached North American lands. You can emulate it if you want to, but I do not recommend it. This is the worst. This is number 10. It's a bad game, Eternal Quest. Definitely bad. Next is gonna have to be... what do you guys think? Eternal Sonata should be in top 3? Okay. You'll go for Nier? You personally will go for Nier? Okay. Paladin's Quest, there's a lot of fans for Paladin's Quest. Eternal Sonata was a great damn game. It is. Is it RNG? It's RNG. It's random. He didn't include Lenos 2, Paladin's Quest 2, because I haven't played it. Oh, we haven't talked about Jeanne d'Arc getting released on PS4 and PS5. We'll talk about that once this is over. The pastel colors, very different from other RPGs. Not Nier for you. So a lot of people are voting Nier for the first place. It's probably going to end up in the first place. But it's competing with Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. That's a great sequel. I don't think anybody's going to vote for Atelier Annie. I mean, it's a good game. Actually, it's a game that it's pretty much Pocket Atelier. Play the game and it's shrunk. Very small graphics, very small interface, small areas, small maps, small alchemy, small everything. It's a good game though, but yeah, almost any other Atelier game out there beats it. But yeah, it's worth checking out. I do recommend it. It's a fun game, but I think it's definitely my number 9. Yeah. Number 8 should probably be Mimana Year Chronicle, because as much I love it, I love that game. And I've defended this game many times before. Good action RPG, bad controls, bad AI, party AI, kind of bad enemy AI too. It's, for the most part, it's a really easy game because the enemies are like dumb. But the story in this game is hilarious, it's excellent, very well written. The English dub has some of the greatest actors of their generation, Oh man, Laura Bailey is in there. Yeah, I'm very fond of this game, but I'll admit needs to be like number 8, man. What do you guys think? Have you played this game? Are you even fond of this game? No one's played it. No one's played Mimana Year Chronicle except the person who proposed the game. It's a good game, right? Yeah, no one's gonna stand up for Mimana, right? I mean, only me. I'm the only guy on the internet that likes that game. Anyway, so number 8. Yeah. I know this is gonna upset some of you, but I do believe that... Well, this is weird. For number 7, I'm debating between Fairy Fencer, Ni no Kuni 2. Ni no Kuni 2 is a great game, but it tried to achieve something that wasn't original. Like, it tried to be Suikoden, and it kind of failed, in my opinion. And it just gets boring after a while. The first several hours are fun, but slowly, for me, this is my experience with the game personally, it starts getting more and more and more boring. Whereas Paladin's Quest is the opposite. It's like really kind of generic at the beginning, but then slowly starts getting better and better. But to be honest, it's not a top tier game. If it was up to me, believe it or not, if it was up to me, Paladin's Quest will be number 7. But what do you guys have to say about that, huh? Rosland, who proposed the game, that says that it should be top 5. But I don't think a lot of people played Paladin's Quest. A lot more people played Ni no Kuni 2 and Fairy Fencer. Fairy Fencer is just I know there's a lot of haters of that game, but I really liked it. Okay, it's definitely not gonna be number 7. Definitely not. It's just Paladin's Quest didn't age that well. It's a good game though. Number 8 was Mimana ER Chronicle on the PSP. Paladin's Quest. It's underrated, man, but it's not one of the best Super Nintendo RPGs, let's face it. We're talking about any version of Fairy Fencer, Brian. Any version. In fact, the PS4 version is the one that I added there. So it's a better version, right? You know what? Roslan, you're the only one who doesn't want Paladin's Quest to be on 7. Ni no Kuni should be 7th place, a good game. But I think I like Ni no Kuni a little bit more than Paladin's Quest. Man, this is what I go through in my top 10s. Okay, in the majority of the top 10s that I've done in this channel, and I've done hundreds of them, you guys know that, this is what I go through. The middle. Like the games that open the list are always decided right from the start, and the first places are always decided too. But the middle list, like 7, 6, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4, those 4 numbers always drive me crazy, man. Okay, fine. Ni no Kuni number 7. I think I like Ni no Kuni 2 a bit more than Paladin's Quest, but fine. Ni no Kuni number 7. Seems like a good place. So number 7, alright, Ni no Kuni 2. It's a good game though, but it just tried to be something it wasn't. I do like it. So many people. Okay, so number 6. Number 6 definitely Fairy Fencer versus Paladin's Quest, right? Right? So Fairy Fencer is a compiled hard game. I'm gonna be very capricious here, so I'm gonna just put Paladin's Quest, which is a turn-based RPG. It's a bit generic at first, but if you stick to it, you like it. I like the fact that there's an MP system, and you fight with MP instead of like your regular HP. It's kind of creative, you know. It wasn't that creative, but it's creative. It's a fun game, and it takes a while to pick up. Like I said, during the first couple of hours, it's an okay game at best, but then it picks up, right? But Fairy Fencer is a blast. It's a great comedy, great battle mechanics. Sure, it's a grind fest, but the fan service, and I don't know, man. I know this is gonna piss off some of you, but Paladin's Quest my number 6. And Fairy Fencer, which is a great comedy and one of the best compiled hard RPGs in my opinion. The first one, not the atrocious sequel, which is... Do not play that game, okay? Fairy Fencer 1, it's a great game. It's definitely my number 5. There, and then we got the last 4, which are the best ones. These are top tier games, man. These are masterpieces, like S. All of these should be on the S. But I think the last story should be number 4. What do you guys think? For the very few people who played the last story, I mean, I love the game, and I know a lot of people played it back in the day, but people nowadays refuse to play it because it's exclusive to the Wii, And yeah, everybody wants that game on the Switch or PS4 nowadays. Hironobu Sakaguchi, if you're watching this, god damn it. Fire Emblem number 4, no way, man. I don't care what you guys say. Nier and Fire Emblem are the first 2 places. Nothing's gonna change that. Nothing whatsoever. So, it's the last story versus Eternal Sonata right now. Nier 4, no fucking way. Original Nier super overrated? You feel that? I've never seen anybody saying that. I don't think there are a lot of fans of the original Nier. In fact, the original Nier was heavily criticized because of its controls and because of the old dude. Wow, I never seen anybody saying Nier original is overrated. That's crazy. Anyway, the last story, number 4. Fantastic game, fantastic action RPG, but I think I like Eternal Sonata a bit more, which is my number 3. I know a lot of you will put Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn in these places, I know that. Most of you are gonna vote for that, but you can't topple the fanboy in me. This is one of my favorite Fire Emblem games of all time. Amazing sequel. Yeah, the ending got weird. They mixed a lot of fantasy elements and a lot of lore and religious themes, and it was like, what's going on here? But everything else, you know, how the parties come together, they start off as enemies, and then they join up. I'm sorry for the spoiler, but it's just an amazing game. And you remember, play this game on easy. Easy mode is a real normal mode. Nintendo messed up the localization. Easy mode doesn't exist. It's just called easy and normal, which are normal and hard. Hey, remember to play this game on easy. Or hard, or normal if you want to, because, you know, some hardcore players are there. But Nier, there's, you know what? Nier is, I think I like Nier a little bit more. And a lot of people are voting Nier to be number 1, so I'm glad to see a lot of people agreeing with that. So, yeah, definitely Fire Emblem number 2. And Nier Gestalt, man, I freaking love it. Hasn't aged that well though, especially in terms of story. Kaine and Emil, analyzing Kaine and Emil in 2024 with all the political BS from nowadays. Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna find this game hard to like nowadays, or hard to enjoy, or even respect. But I played it when it came out. Well, not when it came out, but many years ago. Fell in love with it. It's definitely a true contender. I mean, it's a number 1. It's definitely number 1. So that's the list. Number 10, Eternal Quest. Stay away from that game. It sucks. Number 9, Atelier Annie. It's still fun. It's worth playing, but most other Atelier games beat it in fun. Number 8, Mimana Year Chronicle. It's a fun game, I insist. The battle system sucks, I know that, but give it a chance. The comedy, the characters, the story is worth checking out. Number 7, Ni no Kuni 2, it's still worth playing, it's a good game, it's dirt cheap nowadays, but it just isn't that great. Number 6, Paladin's Quest, check that game out if you like retro Super Nintendo RPGs, it's a fun game, it gets better the more you advance. Number 5, Fairy Fencer F, any version, great fan service, compile hard, great comedy, great combat, it's a fun one. Number 4, The Last Story, excellent game, I hope this game comes to Switch or PS5 or anything, because it needs to, because the graphics on the Wii are starting to look outdated, honestly, but it's still a great game worth playing. Number 3, Eternal Sonata, masterpiece. You've seen me praising that game many times before. Number 2, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, because I'm a fucking fanboy, so what do you expect? I know it should have been on the 4th or 5th place for many of you, but no way. And the king is Nier Gestalt. PS3, Xbox 360 versions, doesn't matter. This game is a masterpiece, and it's excellent. And it's not super overrated, man, that's crazy. It's underrated, even. Anyway, so that was fun, right? Thanks for participating, you know? Thanks for watching. Yeah, that's it. Let's close this. Damn. Wait a second, this is Xenoblade Chronicles. Whoa! Yeah, let's leave it at that. Nah, but then my Suicune t-shirt doesn't show up, so... There. There we go. Thanks for playing, everybody. We got one more thing to do, and that is, of course, the versus episode. For those who don't know, Jeanne d'Arc, that little strategy RPG on the PSP, is finally coming to modern systems. Sony finally listened to fans because they have the rights to the game. Sure, it was developed by Level 5, but the rights are held by Sony themselves, so of course they're gonna give it the upscale graphics treatment. It'll be available on PS4 and PS5, digital only, with upscale graphics. And that game is a blast. It is strongly recommended, one of the best PSP JRPGs of all time. It was a bit underrated back in the day. It was a bit a hidden gem, but nowadays it's pretty popular, and it's gonna get even more popular now with its release. So I'm happy this game is getting that treatment at least. I wish it could have gotten a proper remaster, physical, in all modern systems, but you're gonna have to settle for a digital version with upscale graphics. Hey, at least it's out of the PSP, and the game's expensive on PSP. Physical versions are expensive, so there we go. Another one makes it to the PlayStation Store. And it's gonna be free for PS Plus members, I think. PS Plus Extra or something like that. Since I don't care about that, I didn't do a lot of research on that. But yeah, this game is gonna be digital. And that's great news, man. Great strategy RPG. Is this random tier list, is it going to be part of the show from now on? I don't know, you guys like it? Yeah, maybe we could do more. Turning them into videos for my main channel, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. We'll see. I don't think they're gonna get a lot of views. We'll see, right? But yeah, if you want to, we can do this again for the next Q&A, apart from the versus episodes, right? So are you guys ready for the versus episode? Let's do this. Today's versus episode is going to be a little action RPG on the Super Nintendo called Lagoon versus a little Western RPG, point and click, horrendous game called Draken, published by Kemco. Draken versus Lagoon. I'm serious. I'm not joking, man. I'm doing this, man. Lagoon versus Draken. I'm writing the poll, man. I'm writing the damn poll, man. I'm not joking. There we go. Not kidding, man. You think I'm joking? Click the dislike button and fuck off. Right? I'm that serious. Now that's the real one. That's a real one. Two legendary classics on the Super Nintendo. Okay? Super Mario RPG versus Secret of Mana. Two legendary games on the Super Nintendo, maybe not on the same level of legend as Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, but Super Mario RPG means a lot to me. Secret of Mana is a beautiful game. Let's see which one wins. And something I need to clarify. The original versions. Not the remakes! Because we all know the Super Mario RPG remake is far superior to the Secret of Mana remake. So don't do that, okay? Original Super Nintendo versions. Start voting. I get the feeling Super Mario RPG is gonna win. Is it my favorite? You already know that's my pick. So there we go. Rosland says that Secret Mana is a winner? Mario RPG is a joke? How dare you? Jordan Young says Super Mario RPG was an experiment that over-delivered, whereas Secret of Mana, while strong, lacked the wow factor Super Mario RPG had. Okay, that's a good argument. Praetor says Secret of Mana wins. Never got the hype for Super Mario RPG. It's a fun game, but it doesn't deserve to be talked about like this. Like it's Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger or something. Ooh, I disagree with that, but yeah, I think nostalgia plays a great factor for Super Mario RPG fans. Mario has always been for kids. You're gonna have to make a better argument, Rosland. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty even, this one. I think go to hell, Super Mario RPG is the best Super Nintendo RPG. Better than Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger combined. I like it more. I don't think it's the better game, but I like it more. I don't know if I enter on a metaverse when I connect on Erick's session. Metaverse? What? What? It is a masterpiece. I am one of those people, Praetor. I don't give a shit. I fucking love it. But yeah, I think Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger are much more meaningful games. And they are the true kings on the Super Nintendo. I agree with that. They're better games, you know? But I fucking love Super Mario RPG. Brian says Super Mario RPG was the first Mario game we got where we got to see Nintendo characters having actual personalities. That by itself easily evolves it into the better option. Timed hits became a staple. The battle system, right? Yeah, it was one of the most innovative battle systems of its time. You chose Secret of Mana, your hand was shaking. Wow, it's pretty damn even, man. Look at this. Wow. It's pretty even. Shit. Okay, Rosland, here we go. Rosland says, Secret of Mana started a series of great games while Mario has not. Secret of Mana had beautiful music, characters, while Mario is a bunch of ugly pixels and not a true RPG. Secret of Mana has replay value. Okay, first and foremost, Secret of Mana didn't start a series. It's actually the second game in the series. The first one was Adventures of Mana. But yeah, the first game we got as Mana, under the name of Mana, was Secret of Mana. So, okay, I'll give you that. But Mario having a bunch of ugly pixels and not being a true RPG, it's called Super Mario RPG, man. It is a true RPG, traditional turn-based leveling system, story, character development. What do you mean it's not an RPG? If you think the pixels are ugly, okay, I respect that, but not a true RPG? What are you talking about? You're just adding more salt, man, more wood to the fire. If you had said Seiken then Setsu 3 instead of Secret of Mana, you mean Trials of Mana? Yeah, but my problem is that a lot of people didn't play Trials of Mana, and most of them are going to think of the remake. And I don't want the remakes to compete. I want the original Super Nintendo versions. And Trials of Mana, the original Super Nintendo version, we never got it until Collection of Mana decades later. So I thought about that, but I was like, no, more people are from the West are more fond of Secret of Mana. You see what I mean? So yeah, I do believe, I am with you, Trials of Mana is the better game between Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana. I agree with that, but yeah, that's my reasoning. Trials of Mana was amazing, yeah, but I think a lot of people are gonna think of the remake. So this is about the original versions, people, not the remakes. We can all agree. I mean, look, the Secret of Mana remake was fun. Okay, it's fun, it's a good game, it just wasn't the remake everybody was expecting, it's a fun game. But the Super Mario RPG remake is fantastic. So, not the remakes, original versions. And it's pretty damn even, I can't believe it. Look at the poll, guys. This is the most even poll we've done. I mean, I remember when we did Xenoblade Chronicles versus Nier Automata, it was kinda even. But Xenoblade was winning for like 10% always. But look at this shit, man. Smiling Dog says, for me, I'll go with Secret of Mana because to me, it's got quite a beautiful soundtrack, characters, and a truly fascinating game to come back to, especially with Trials of Mana, Seiken Densetsu 3, which was way superior than the second game. Okay. Final Fantasy 12 KD says, for me, Super Mario RPG. It's fun to play and it adds to the characters more soul. I like Bowser in this game. Well, you usually don't like Bowser in the other Mario games. But yeah, Bowser got character development, alright? Unpopular opinion, I think Live Alive is better than Secret of Mana. You know what, I agree. Well, Rosland, if you think Mario RPG is an RPG for kids and for beginners, I agree with that. But it's still an RPG. Even if it's for kids. Even if it's for kids, it's an RPG. I mean, that's an objective statement, man. It shouldn't even be an opinion. The game's a role-playing game. But yeah, everything else is your opinion, and okay, I respect that. You don't like the game. More arguments, people. We need more arguments. Just a bit more. Isn't that technically what Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was supposed to be? Same, yeah. I mean, you can't expect a Mario game to be like teen rated or mature rated. I mean, just, come on. Mario is always going to be a game for kids. What are we listening to? Oh, Trails of Cold Steel 4. Steel Barrier. Good song. Mystic Quest, I've seen a lot of people praising the soundtrack, including me. But if you really listen to it, it's not that great. There's just a few songs that are fantastic, and the rest of the soundtrack is forgettable. Now that I think about it. But yeah, it's a good soundtrack. The soundtrack stood out. You think Paper Mario is better than Super Mario RPG? Okay. I thought about that one. Paper Mario versus Super Mario RPG 2. Maybe we should do that one of these days. Misu says, Secret of Mana by a mile. I hate that they changed the art style for the remake of Super Mario RPG to the sameness. No. Your argument won't make it to the video unless you talk about these two games. And you believe... Tell me why you think Secret of Mana is better than Super Mario RPG. Original versions, forget about the remakes. Don't talk about the remakes. Yeah. That's an interesting argument, Felix, but I'm not gonna read it because it's a spoiler. You think Super Mario RPG will win in a landslide against Paper Mario? I guess because, number one, Paper Mario is an exclusive on the Nintendo 64. Yes, it's on the Switch Online, but it's on a 64 emulator. And it wasn't remastered like the GameCube title was. Paper Mario, the first one, was left abandoned by Nintendo. I don't know why Nintendo decided to remaster the second game and not the first one. What's up with that? That was a stupid decision. But hey, you know, they were going to ruin it anyway with the translation. I haven't played either remake, so I can only comment on the original versions. Yeah, that's better. I have played the remix, and Super Mario RPG wins by a landslide. Shit, man. 50 votes, Super Mario RPG 52%, Secret of Mana 48%. That no other Versus episode we've done in the past has come this close. The closest is the one that I mentioned, Xenoblade Chronicles versus Nier Automata, which was like 55-45. Remember that? That was crazy. Look at this, 51-49. This is crazy. This is historical in the Versus series. Hacker says, I feel the game mechanics in Super Mario RPG are much more innovative than the charge system in Secret of Mana. So you prefer Super Mario RPG because of the battle mechanics. Yeah, for its time it was more innovative. The charge system was kind of annoying in my opinion, but I still got used to it. And then Misu says, Super Mario RPG for my tastes, but I do the MP for Secret of Mana was a great... I do think that the MP for Secret of Mana was a great option. I wish more offline RPGs like that had MP. Okay, but you still prefer Super Mario RPG. A Secret of Mana wins because of the couch player. Really? Just because of that? You got just a few seconds to... just a few minutes to make your argument. Oh, 50-50! Look at this! Oh, man! Whoa, this is historical, man. Look at the ball. Damn. Ha! This is awesome, man. I nailed it with this one, huh? I knew it would be a bloody battle. I knew it. Oh, the Super Mario RPG versus Earthbound? No, Earthbound is a pretty beloved game, but a lot of people didn't play it. Super Mario RPG versus Secret of Mana, and my head was like... Okay, so a couple of people are saying that the simple fact that Secret of Mana has couch cooperative mode, unlike Super Mario RPG, that's the only reason why it wins? Come on. You started this. I know, man. I'm very happy, you know, because it usually, for most episodes, the difference has been like huge, right? Like 20% of a difference, 30% even. Wild Arms versus Grandia. Grandia destroyed Wild Arms, remember that? But look at this, man. I'm nervous. Twilight Dragon says, for me it has to be Super Mario RPG. The story, characters, combat system was fun. I couldn't get into Secret of Mana. At the time I thought it was boring. I didn't mind the remake. Okay. Anything versus a Kemco game would have been a bloodbath for Kemco. Maybe we should put two Kemco RPGs, fight it out. Cross Tales versus Revenant Saga. Mystic Chronicles versus As Divine Hearts. How about that? Yeah, no one's gonna vote. No one gives a shit about Kemco. Cross Tales is a good one. One of the best Kemco RPGs. You think Secret of Mana wins without co-op? Okay. Multiplayer was a huge thing for RPGs back then, I get it. Some of them also had multiplayer features like Final Fantasy 4 and 5 and 6, you know. So yeah, I get it. I know why it's important to you, but just because a game has multiplayer options doesn't make it better. I mean, come on. You can count with one hand? Oh, back then, yes. Nowadays, watch, I did 2 videos 5 years ago called Top 10 Best Cooperative JRPGs, and more have been released. Rosland keeps defending Secret of Mana, saying Secret of Mana was one of the first games where you could level up your weapons, magic, etc. by using them over and over again. All the weapons were fun and different. You could also use any of the 3 protagonists. Okay. I think this is it. 60 votes. Is that enough? Well, the truth is that I'm running out of time, so... Okay, 1 minute. One more argument. Metal Maxino, man. This music's brutal. No? No one? 46 seconds. Someone's gonna say, I hate the versus episodes in Erick Landon RPG. The timer ruins everything. No one would have bought Super Mario RPG if it wasn't about Mario. True. Probably. No, I think a lot of people would have still bought it. A lot. But it wouldn't be that popular. I think this is 10 seconds. Fine, Misu, you love Secret of Mana. You made your point. I respect that. Well, sucks to you guys. The poll is over. Super Mario RPG won with 51% and Secret of Mana lost with 49%. That's crazy. This is the most even versus episode we've done in forever. Look at it. Super Mario RPG barely won with 2%. That's just crazy. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy that once again my pick won. Only for a little bit though, but it won. It freaking won. Yeah. Okay, let me say my arguments. It's gonna be pretty short because you know I'm a diehard of Super Mario RPG. You already know I was gonna choose that one. I grew up with it. It was one of my first RPGs ever created that I ever played. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I love the battle mechanics. I was a big fan of Mario when I played it. I couldn't believe my eyes when I touched the game, when I played it in the battle system. It was like, this is a turn-based RPG, this is fantastic. It's basically the one that got me into RPGs, and sometimes I dare say that if it wasn't for Super Mario RPG, I probably wouldn't have cared for Chrono Cross. You know, I don't know, maybe I would have still loved Chrono Cross, but Super Mario RPG came before, you know, so it's a big deal of a game to me. Love the battle system, man. So breaking down in areas, I think the story is on equal terms. It's a good story, it's a fun story on both games. Secret of Mana is a bit more mature, but it's still a story kind of for kids, you know, but it's more of a traditional JRPG story for its time. Whereas the one in Mario, it's for kids, it's infantile, you know, it's childish, but I love it. It has meaning, it has development, and I think I like it a bit more. In terms of battle mechanics, of course, I'm gonna pick Super Mario RPG. I tend to pick turn-based RPGs over action RPGs most of the time. And Secret of Mana, someone was saying that the charge system didn't age very well. When I first played the game, I didn't like it, and I still don't like it nowadays. The charge system kinda takes a big chunk of value to the game. For me personally, if you love the charge system, that's cool. I just didn't. I couldn't get into the charge system. I didn't enjoy it. And the Super Mario RPG combat was a freaking blast. You know, it's engaging, creative, innovative for its time, and it has its haters, you know, but it's mostly lovers, and I'm one of those. I love the battle mechanics in Super Mario RPG, man. The music is great in both games. Man, but since I have more nostalgia for Super Mario RPG, and I'm a huge fan of Yoko Shimomura, of course I'm gonna go with that soundtrack. I love the music in Super Mario RPG, but I don't mean to crap on the soundtrack of Secret of Mana, which is fantastic as well, to be honest. I love the music, and the music in Secret of Mana makes you feel like you are part of the game. You know, I don't know, it's just so... You listen to it and you immediately think of Secret of Mana, right? It's a wonderful soundtrack, but I gotta go with the one in Super Mario RPG. It's just phenomenal. So many memorable themes. Even if you listen to them over and over again, it's just... Yoko Shimomura, man, she's a goddess. She's a music goddess. Graphics, you'll be surprised to know that I think Secret of Mana wins. If Secret of Mana is gonna win on something, for me personally, it's in graphics. I love the graphics in Mario RPG. They look fantastic. They look great, kind of weird and funny. And it was a more advanced graphic system than Secret of Mana. But the colors, the pixel art, the animations in Secret of Mana, wow. I don't know, man. It just looks gorgeous. Secret of Mana is one of the most beautiful looking games on the Super Nintendo, in my opinion. It definitely wins in terms of graphics, but that's about it, you know? And I think the gameplay is overall better in Mario RPG. The pacing is better, Secret of Mana is a bit slow at the beginning, you're starting your own, and then you gotta do something special to recruit your first party member. Most people forgot about that and didn't know how to recruit that party member, and they just went off on their own, you know, and it's a bit slow. I like the pacing is better in Super Mario RPG, but overall, you know, I think it has a better gameplay because it breaks it down in a more traditional style than Secret of Mana. Even though Secret of Mana, you also go from town to town and stuff like that, so... Yeah, I think gameplay-wise, both games are almost on equal terms, but Super Mario RPG is more fun, has better gameplay, I like it more. But I can't, as you can see, I can't make a very compelling argument when it comes to gameplay mechanics. Both games are fantastic, right? So, Super Mario RPG wins for me. Masterpiece, the remake is a masterpiece as well. And Secret of Mana, I'm just not that... I never beat the game. Simple as that. I couldn't get into it, and probably I will one day, but I don't think I'll ever change my mind. If I ever beat Secret of Mana and become a fan, I don't think I'll remove Super Mario RPG from the throne of Super Nintendo RPGs for me. Yeah, I know Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger are better, but I don't give a shit. Super Mario RPG, all the way down. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Wow, Rosland, okay, you have declared yourself the ultimate hater of Super Mario RPG. We get it, man. You fucking hate the game. That's it, guys. Gotta go. So there we go, everybody. Thanks for another Q&A. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see about the Versus episode later. Don't forget to watch it once it's uploaded on my main channel. I'm about to upload the one of East 8 versus Octopath Traveler in a few days, next week. Don't forget to check it out. And finally... let me think about the, if you guys liked the tier list idea that we just did, the 10 RPGs ranked from worst to best, yeah, sure, we'll do that for the next Sunday. and maybe forever. I don't know. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend and take care.